Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the court of the Edijester. I hope you are all well. Come and join us in June as a Warrior Teacher. Buy me a coffee. Please subscribe and like. Like's the big thing. Like helps the algorithm. So if you can like it, don't do the rest of it if you don't want to, but like. Smash that like button. And you can help me make sure I get my message out there as much as I possibly can, which I think is to the good of humanity. I do hope so. I'd hate to think it was to the bad, right? So let's go. I do that every morning. I get up and go, am I the bad guy? We should all do that. Helps keep us measured. So, I'm going back to revisit a blog by a marvellous woman called Stilltish, right? On Twitter, @Stilltish. You may know, best researcher in the business, one of the best. I say this all the time. If you want to know stuff, go to a website. Fantastic, right? Links as usual for you are in the dubris. And Claire is taking a look here on the 19th of March 2024 at someone called Claire Prosho. I'm not quite sure what. And this comes under the category of hate crime and non-hate crime incidents. Stilltish says, I came across Prosho via a talk that he gave to Essex Police. You get a picture then, it's a bloke, it's a LARPer. To Essex Police, for whom he provides advice on hate crime. Why are they asking a man an address about hate crime? He does this in the capacity as a vice chair of the Thurrock Police Independent Advisory Group. Here is a quote from that talk, which was the impetus for me having a more in-depth look. And then Stilltish quotes Johnny W.S. Bell at Johnny User for giving her the heads up on Twitter. In essence, Prosho incited the police to treat women who are fighting for sex-based rights as akin to terrorists. This is quite a serious claim. You can watch the talk here. So there's a video. Go and have a look at the video. In this talk, Prosho outlines the extents of hate crime against trans people, claiming it is at record levels, but also claiming it is underreported because trans people are afraid they will be dismissed. It is not clear, says Tish, whether he is actually talking about hate crime or non-hate crime incidents. Hate crime involves an actual criminal offence deemed to be aggravated by the motivation for the offence, specifically if the crime is because of the monitored strands of race, religion, sexual orientation, disability and transgender identity. All right. Non-hate crime incidents are not criminal offences, but can nevertheless be recorded on your record. There is no strand that covers misogyny, so crimes motivated by the fact that you are a woman are not monitored. There you go. 8 crimes. Get rid of a lot of them. Get rid of them all. Get them gone. Nonsense. Prosho is an expert in victimology. The many problems with so-called non-hate crime incidents is that it relies on the perception of the person preemptively designated a victim. This can result in having a non-hate crime incident, an NHCI, recorded against you without your knowledge and with no change to refute the allegation. It is extremely problematic to accept the subjective assessment of a man who identifies as a woman who may regard it as hate when a woman calls him a man. So you've got a LARPing bloke advising the police. Gets up in the morning, thinks, oh, let's feminise myself and, get the knickers on, all gusset, fumbling, stickiness and all that. And then, goes, well, where are you going? I'm going to go and advise the police. All right, mate, see you later. Right, just... Notably, the legally protected characteristic of sex is not included, so women have no recourse, despite women being the sex who is murdered at the hands of men at a rate of 3 a week. Transgender identity is included despite this not being a legally protected characteristic. It's insane! Get it gone, all of it! There is also the opportunity to game the system, as this exchange with trans activist James Morton shows. James Morton has then said in the picture that Stilltish has provided, please log it by reporting to the Police Scotland online hate crime form. You can say you don't need them to contact you back. We need the stats. We need the stats. Please make it up and report it so we can have the stats, you wibbler. Prosho uses his speech to criticise MPs, including the Prime Minister, for storing up hate against trans people. He also strongly criticised the police force in general. I find it astonishing that the police sit meekly as this man exhibits attitudes with all the hallmarks of ideological extremism. And you, as I've said, there is access to the video there if you want to watch it and see what has inspired Stilltish's work. Let's talk about Prosho, right? So backstory here, 50 Shades of Gender. Prosho is a late transitioning male who is a married heterosexual father with a history of cross-dressing. Oh, blow me down with a feather. Of course he is. Oh. In Old Money, he was a transvestic fetishist. Indeed, he admits to his life as a part-time cross-dresser and claims he struggled with the shame of believing he was a cross-dresser and a fetishist. Well, you are, mate. Now he can unburden himself of the shame by adopting the persona of a trans woman. He reveals this in the podcast below, which is the one called 50 Shades of Jane. Can you imagine dealing with this bloke on a regular basis? Pro-show. God bloody. If you don't mind having to deal with pro-show, it's a fine life. In what is rather common narrative, he claims that he knew he was different from the age of 10. He's lying, and he discovered that sex change was a possibility when he discovered Caroline Cozzi, a man who passed as a beautiful Bond girl. As he grew up, he began part-time cross-dressing with, he says, his wife's full permission. Growing up with a wife? No, he already had the wife. No, he got the wife. He's grown up. He claims his wife took him on weekends where he could dress up and took photos of him, which, when he could finally look at them, gave him a sense of euphoria. Again, gender euphoria is a familiar term from these late transitioning men who share a common narrative with autogynephiles. Autogynephiles are men who are erotically charged by the idea of themselves as a woman. He describes how he was an early adopter of digital technology, having been into video games back in the 80s. He also had some early experiencing with computer programming. A background in typical male pursuits is a common thread in the narratives of these men who often have a hyper-masculine background. Yep, they do. Navy, army, engineering, that type of thing. He describes how, after only 2 weeks on hormones, his bra straps began slipping because his shoulders had shrunk. Just cuckoo, right? He also describes how, post-hormones, he began to enjoy cross-stitch. How are you feeling? So female. He began to enjoy cross-stitch, romantic films. What do you want to watch tonight? Terminator? No, let's do The Bridges of Madison County. What's happened to you? It's the estrogen. Right? Romantic films, housework and cooking. Oh my God, poor bloke. He's not well. Jesus. Oh. He claims he was very much accepted by his wife's female friends and enjoyed being dragged onto the dance floor, something he would never have contemplated as a man. Brackets. Not brackets, speech marks. The account is reminiscent of the accounts I have read of behavioural autogynephilia. Unsurprising, there are some inconsistencies in his story. He claims that the hormones changed his behaviour dramatically to be more feminine, but later, when he talks about his mother, he claims she treated him like a daughter and he helped with housework and he even helped choose clothes for her. It just rings true. It's every single bell you need, and this guy's advising the police. Right, go and read it. Stilltish writes a lovely article. There you are, Stilltish. How you doing, lovely? So go and have a look. I'll leave you with that, all right? You're autogynephile. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.